The master of living a lavish lifestyle, spending millions of dollars on random stuff, Floyd Mayweather adds a brand new $18 million Miami Beach mansion to his many homes. So let's break down this story. By the way, this is 40inbox.com where we help you master your money. He's called money for a reason. Boxing promoter and former professional boxer Floyd Mayweather dropped $18 million on a Miami Beach mansion last week, the real deal first reported. The big spender owns many homes, he bragged on Instagram over the weekend. His property portfolio includes a $26 million house in California with a wine wall and a $10 million Las Vegas mansion. One's home is their sanctuary, place of peace, relaxation, and comfort, he opinioned poetically on the gram, when his Vegas mansion was burgled earlier this year. His newest acquisition is a 9-bedroom, 10.5-bathroom home that was most recently listed for $19.9 million after first seeking $21.8 million in 2016. Mayweather purchased the house through an entity named Fojoso LLC. Now that looks freaking amazing. Dang. That's like a really nice looking mansion. So the 10,853 square foot home spans 3 stories with a 5,000 square foot rooftop deck. It has an indoor movie theater, a gym, a game room, and an entertainment area according to the listing. And the 0.32 acre Palm Island lot faces Miami across the Biscayne Bay. It has a private dock, a pool, a hot tub, a stone deck, huge terraces, and parking for 10 cars according to the listing. By the way, if you don't know this, because you might not know much about mansions, but for a house to be determined a mansion, it has to be $10,000 or 10,000 square feet plus, right? Once it hits the 10,000 square foot plus mark, it ends up considering like just basically being labeled a mansion. Like that's the like cutoff point. So the sellers of the house were former Morgan Stanley managing director Candido Villela and his wife Annabella. Now that's a cool name, Annabella, who had the house built in 2011. Dina Goldentayer of Douglas Elliman held the listing, and Tanasha Pettigrew of Galleria International Realty represented Mayweather, according to Realtor.com. So the 44-year-old boxer recently sold a Miami Beach house for $6.25 million at a $1.5 million loss. The Post previously reported of the home that was most recently occupied by Bartool Sports founder Dave Portnoy. Now, the sellers of the house were former... Okay, so the controversial figure has 5 children, adopted and biological: 25-year-old Devion Cromwell, 21-year-old Karan, 21-year-old Ayana, 20-year-old Zion, and 17-year-old Dra. He recently fought Logan Paul and trained ex-UFC champ Tyron Woodley for a match with Jake Paul. And apparently he made over $100 million with this fight with Logan Paul. Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, okay, so that's basically it. But the thing is, like, it's a nice property, right? Like, if you end up like watching this is like a nice property. But here's also another thing too, right? Now, I remember watching some episode where he was talking about how, because here's the thing, right? I think in the majority of Mayweather's life, like the majority of it, he was extremely bad with money, right? Like, I think he was like extremely bad with money because there was multiple times that he basically got in trouble when it came down to his money and basically not really having any money, right? But I think a about the time that he fought McGregor, and probably right after that fight, he probably structured all of his deals to be extremely lucrative for him. And what I mean by that is that he now tends to really only, I think, purchase things that really are producing some sort of income to him in some form, right? Like, I'm pretty certain that he's really focusing on basically everything that could potentially make him money over time. And so that's buying like a whole bunch of real estate, that's getting involved into a lot of business deals, right? Like the fight with Logan Paul kind of stuff, because that's just more money that he could toss into real estate, toss into things that are potentially producing him more and more money, right? Because I remember seeing a video of him saying that he owned multiple businesses and real estate that was producing him enough money to technically not ever really change his lifestyle like ever again, right? Like, I believe he basically got to the point where now he has put things in place to where he's making like enough, you could say, passive income to basically cover all of his living expenses. Basically anything that he wants to do for the rest of his life, he can go and do, right? Without having to go and do like some crazy stuff like the fighting with Logan Paul and all that kind of stuff, right? But he's basically in a situation now where, like, if he sees an easy money-making opportunity, he's just going to take it, right? Because just think about it, right? Like, even if you had $100 million inside your bank account after taxes completely cleared, no strings attached, you get $100 million in your bank, right? Even if you were to have that, if you know you could just go and do something for like a week and make like $50 million as like a payout, you're going to probably just go and do that, right? Even though you don't need the money, right? You're still probably going to be able to do that just because you have the freedom to just go and do that if you really want to, right? You also have the freedom to just go and do like this side little hustle thing for like 5 million, or another side little hustle for like 10 million, or maybe do like a guest appearance for like $500,000 or $1 million, like $1 million, just because you just want to do that just to buy something fun and stupid, right? Like, he's at that point in his career and his brand and his life to where he has the financial freedom to basically go and do whatever he wants, which in turn can potentially just make him even more money because he doesn't have to stress about anything anymore, right? And that's if he's truly set up his life in a way where all of his monthly expenses can be covered. Because that's the thing. A lot of people think that you need to be making a crazy amount of money to basically live for free or like be retired. And that's not really the case, right? The thing is, and this is the biggest principle that the majority of people in life, regardless of the amount of money that they make, can't follow, and that is by spending less than what you make, right? That's where you get these NBA players making millions and millions of dollars, but they end up retiring broke because they got literally no money because they spent all of their money. And this is where you get like a plumber making like $60,000 to $80,000 per year, being able to retire a millionaire because they spend far less than what they are making, right? This is how you can also have a teacher, just a teacher, become a millionaire by simply spending less than what they make. Another way to actually think about this, right? To really like dig this deep into those that are listening or watching this, right? If you were to work a job at McDonald's, just flipping burgers, just working the kitchen, all that kind of stuff, right? Basically making minimum wage. Now, it's a little bit even more now if they were to keep this pay, which they're probably not. But let's say that you're making minimum wage at McDonald's, right? Starting now. And you work there for like the next 20, 30 years without a pay increase, right? If you spent less money than what you make, you would still actually end up becoming a millionaire. Because just the amount of money that you would actually earn working a McDonald's job will actually pay out $1 million, right? It will physically pay you $1 million in your lifetime of working if you were to just work at McDonald's, right? So that's not including not having any debt. That's not including, any investments that you make, right? Which if you were to invest your money and have no debt while working a job at McDonald's, that $1 million that you might make in your lifetime of working there would potentially be more like $4, $7, even $8 million just from compounding interest, right? By just simply doing simple investments and living a cheap, modest life. And that's something that a lot of people really need to understand, that it never matters how much money you're making. It only matters how much money you are actually keeping and putting into your pocket, right? Because here's the thing. Let's say someone gives you $2,000, right? But instead of you putting it into your pocket, you go spend $2,000 on like a couple lottery tickets, or at partying or drinking, or at Las Vegas, or on the blackjack table, or like a pair of pants and shirt, maybe a Rolex, right? So instead of just putting it inside your pocket, you're going to be just spending it on useless items, right? And this is the problem that a lot of people face, and it's very hard to break that type of habit. But you can. So if you need help with mastering your money, meaning how you could basically not spend all of your money, get out of debt, and start investing in a very simple and easy to understand and easy to follow along process, go check out 40inbox.com to learn the secret to mastering your money. Because here's the thing, it does not matter, again, how much money you make, is how much money you are spending compared to how much money you are making. So we'll see you in future episodes. Either way, I think it's pretty cool that he bought a super nice mansion. The only thing is, I do hope that he has structured his life in a way that all of his monthly expenses can be covered. Hopefully.